This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is COTY.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
And we are back. It's another season of the Just Nuggets Podcast. This is COTY. How are you doing over here?
Hey, it's Just Janet.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so excited for our season.
3, baby.
Yep. I love it.
Christoph, how you doing over there?
What's up? Season 3. We're kind of vets in this thing at this point now. Going into our junior year of this thing, and this hopefully we mimic. We're batting every other at this point, so we'll see how everything shakes out.
You know what it is? When you get on, when those rookies come into the sport and they just take off, and then we had our sophomore slump.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt with the Nuggets. Our freshman year, we won a championship. We thought we walked on earth, and we
picked it. We predicted.
Well, we knew the Nuggets going to win that year. We just had a good feeling that year.
Yeah. And if you want to do that, I think we're batting 1,000 because from the jump we knew that the issue was going to be that we needed a bench.
Yes.
That was from as soon as we started talking about Just Nuggets Summer League 1. We were like, they didn't do enough in the draft. They need to get something else in free agency. And they never did. We know who's to blame for that. And it didn't come to fruition. And you saw it rear its ugly head in Game 7 at the Ball Arena against Minnesota. And they got no production from the offseason moves they made. And it just didn't come to fruition. And we were right about that too. So if you want to get into it, we have been 1,000%. So we'll see what comes out of this pod today, what our predictions are for the season. But overall, I'm feeling a little bit confident about it. I think the league around us has gotten significantly better. So let's get into it.
Yeah, sure. Let's start a little bit going into how the Nuggets are built this year. Yeah. And let's just give a little overview of the Nuggets from 1 to 10, who we've seen throughout preseason. What do you think those lineup structures are going to be? It seems as if CB, Christian Brown, has entered into the starting lineup, and that's confirmed. Looks like Westbrook will be six-man-ish, and then Strother has kind of set himself up for 7. But where do you kind of put the rest of those pieces of the puzzle onto the Nuggets roster?
Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Since we signed off and signed back on for the season, Russell Westbrook got picked up. I think so far seeing him in preseason, he's been excellent. He's bringing his passing ability, his defense ability, all the things that his toughness, his willingness to want to win, and he's just really good for either fill-in starter or coming off the bench and being like a joker out there in the fact that he can, pass. So and set up others to be do their thing. So I like that. I like the move with I like Kankar coming back. We haven't had him for a year. He needs to get in shape and get around the guys and get back in the thick of it. But I think that can help us a lot. And then Sark, the new guy,
yep, he's nice.
Has been looking good in playoffs. What do you think about that?
Well, he's kind of been our backup center, which is interesting. So we'll play a really small ball lineup with Russ. I do enjoy Russ because the problem with last year's bench was that it didn't have any real flow. That's why we were staggering people the whole time. With Russ, you have the ability to run essentially a second unit where he can have his days where he's taken over and he gives his 15 points, but also by cutting and getting to the hoop, he's going to get Strother easy buckets. If Hunter Tyson steps up in those minutes, he's going to get easy shots. I think we are limited a little bit from the three-point line. The only person we really have that can shoot the 3 at a high clip is Michael Porter. And Julian Strother, as quiet as it's kept, he led the preseason in points, which was actually pretty cool. So if he can continue to be a scorer and a three-point shooter, that would be at least one more person that we have. But I would say probably that's where some updates could help.
And Christoph, what do you think about this? I think that Russ will help Jamal. And the reason why is because they were staggering Jamal between the starting and the bench all year, and it wore him down. Even when he was in better health, doing well, It was just a lot. And so I think that rest that he'll get, just, playing starters and some backup, and they having that issue of not being to have to do the all duty all the time, I think will help. And so I think that's one of the things that's going to get saved with that trade.
No, I agree. I believe that having Russell now on the team, on the charters, the bus, in the locker room, in their cell phones, in the film room, just having him around is going to lift everyone's spirits. And you've heard the clips coming out of camp that it's already happened. And you saw the clips. You saw the clips of when they went to Abu Dhabi, him making the rookies sing, and and just like his connection. He's a vet. He's a former MVP. He's a name. You can't write NBA history without him, but you can't write the last 20 years of the NBA without Mr. Russell Westbrook. And just having him around, his influence on the locker room, and his desire to get a championship, that's something that I think will start to show itself throughout this season. Inshallah, they all remain healthy, specifically him. I just think there's going to have to be a move that needs to be made. And with our GM being who he is, I highly doubt it'll get made, but whatever. I'm sure that'll be a talking point for the rest of the season from Mr. Christoph Yalik. But the two names that are very prominent and they need to develop, and if they take that a significant leap forward, this Nuggets team will be one of the final one or two standing at the end of the season. And those names are one that Dot already mentioned, Julian Strawther, and the other one is Christian Brown.
What about Peyton Watson?
No, I'm not going to do that again this year.
We haven't seen him much.
Well, he had a hamstring.
Let's not do that. Here's what Peyton Watson is. He is a defensive guy. He's Peyton Watson. And if he specializes on what he does, and that plays excellent defense, there's been plenty of people that come to mind, Tony Allen, Bruce Bowen, throughout the time in the NBA, who are just lockdown defenders.
How about KCP? I mean,
no, KCP can hit a three ball, and I just haven't seen that. And this is year 3. I'm not doing that again with Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson is a specialist on defense, and he needs to remain that, and just needs to take that step forward on the defensive side of the ball. I'm with you. And if he can unlock, bump his average up to 6 to 12 points a game, perfect. But I highly doubt that would occur. I think he's going to live between 4 and 8 points a game.
Okay, what about Najee? How about Najee? Put him in this bucket too.
I'm talking about 2 players right now. Strawther and CB.
Yeah.
CB's now a starter.
Yeah.
So he now needs to have those games that KCP would have, where he can get off and have open looks. Playing with, big fella, number 15, the deity that is, you're going to have significantly a lot of good looks at the bucket. You're going to have a lot of open threes. You just have to knock it down. And if you play with confidence, and you're now in that rotation, you got to step up significantly, Mr. Christian. And you have to, CB, you have to come through and really become that scorer that we think you can be. And then obviously we know Julian Strawther. Julian Strawther's coming to year 2. He now has seen the league. He's traveled around. He knows the fatigue that comes with being an NBA player. You just gotta show what you've been drafted to be. Everybody was hype about you. Take that step forward. Kind of Mike Porter Jr.-ish, where we were pumped about him. He was hurt, and he just needed to take that next step forward. Strawther is now in that same vein, where it's like, we will not become the place. We won't go to the place that we all have been to and know we can get back to without him taking that step forward. And I think this could be remedied a lot easier with outside forces like a trade or a buyout when the time comes. But we have an idiot as a GM, so we gotta move forward as with such.
Yeah, I think you can probably get rid of Najee midseason if a team really wants him, but that means you got to showcase him. I would say this though, Christoph. You talked about CB being an important X factor that needs to develop. But in a lot of ways, I think his game and Peyton Watson, they're both more defensive guys than they are offensive guys. So it's interesting you were hoping that Christian Braun takes this big step offensively, but you don't see the same for Peyton Watson.
But here's why: is because he's a starter. You know, if Peyton Watson was the starter, I'd be saying the same thing about him.
Okay.
You know, and that's just not the case. You know,
All right.
Peyton Watson. I've heard clips of Peyton Watson talking about how he trusts his game and he just needs to unleash the bag and stuff. But you gotta remember, this dude was a dude who averaged 2 points in college too. So like, I get that, but 2 points is 2 points, bro. And say what you must, like, that's just not. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to try to sit here and make him something he's not. He's demonstrated he can be a above average defensive player. So now go be an excellent defensive player and go be second team, third team, all defensive NBA. Like those are the goals and aspirations. If he can come in and be locked down like that, I see that more of a benefit, and we can get scoring elsewhere. That's what I'm saying.
Well, can we talk about the 3-point shooting that K-Dot just talked about? We have some that can do really well, but we don't have a consistent one. And MPJ even said that. You know, he was after one of the playoffs games, he said, you know, that's still something that we got to work on internally. And if we could get one more person who was a consistent, already known to be a 3-point shooter, that's what we could fill in a hole with, because that would be, you know, move us to the next level for sure.
Yeah. I think that's the number one move the Nuggets will need to do at some point in this season is go get a third shooter, a third consistent shooter that knocks down the three at somewhere at 41 to 42%.
Yeah, somebody that's known to be a 3-point shooter.
Do not hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
I'm just saying, if you're asking me, and I'll even ask this question because we're on the broader side, but I'll start. It's like, how do you think we get back to the championship? If you ask me that, my number one question would say, I would take the roster that we have and I would add some form of 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Because we have basically everything we need to win another championship, because the West hasn't got significantly, the West hasn't passed the Nuggets. You know what I mean? There's no team in the West that I look at right now and I say I'm scared of in the West.
Nope.
The Nuggets are right there with all of them. So what
I agree.
Above them would be some form of another. I agree. Shooter.
What would need to go correct in a perfect world for the Nuggets to win a championship? I say they fire Calvin Booth, and then the world is their oyster.
Well, let's say, okay, obviously they're not about to fire him next season. So what would be your second?
Get his rest, Christoph.
What would be your second? And you got Sarge.
They go hand in. But that's the thing, is they go hand in hand, because I think they need a shooter, but we're not going to get a shooter because we got our GM. So it's like it's one of those things.
So how do you think Nuggets win?
As the team's currently constructed, they can't go out and get a shooter. They're not going to fire the GM. As it's currently constructed, what needs to happen is what I said. Strother turns into somebody who's averaging, you know, has a true breakout season where he becomes a definitive scorer, kind of in that a la Brucey B role, where he could come off and just snap some games and just go off for 25 in big moments, not December 12th, not April 2nd. You know, like where it actually matters in a big game in a big spot. You know what I mean? Down the stretch, in those games in January, in those games in June and July, May and June. In those moments, Zeke Naji, let's neglect Zeke Naji. I think Zeke Naji's kind of hit his peak, and we kind of all know what he is. I think if Sarge comes in and he plays like 2021 on Phoenix, Sarge, where he's an absolute monster.
Mid-range?
Yeah, he's a mid-range or a 3-point shooter.
No, that's what I'm saying. But if he plays, I'm just saying, as it's currently constructed, what needs to happen for us to take the championship is that. And then here's a big one. In Game 7 at home, Michael Porter scores more than 7 points. Because if that happens, then he knows it. We're in a good spot too.
Let's talk about MPJ. I love him. So. And we can talk about AG as well, but let's just talk about MPJ first. He made strides last year. Okay, he didn't get to his perfection, which we know we're looking forward to doing. That's what you just described. Because in Game 7, we could have used it, but we all know they were tired. We all knew they had 82 games. They had to get to a certain spot, top whatever, and then have to play hard like that in the playoffs, and they just fizzled out. That's exactly what happened. However, Michael Porter had a great year. In fact, we wouldn't have been where we were if it wasn't for Michael Porter staying in those games for 82 games and taking it upon himself to want to play 82 games for the first time, or however he made it. So that's what I think.
I have a quick thing for you, actually.
All
Quick
right.
thing. And I'll lay off. I'll try to lay off for the rest of the season. And since this is the first one of this season, and I will let the bygones be bygones, and I will leave the 7 points in Game 7 thing alone.
Okay.
After I say this, who do you think has more pressure on them, Jason Tatum or Michael Porter Jr.?
Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Tatum. Because Tatum
Okay.
he's still the main guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's got Brown with him.
He's just the main guy.
Yeah.
If he doesn't
He's the
perform
face.
well, then
He's the face of Boston Celtics in my mind.
yeah, he doesn't.
Okay.
Well, people get mad at him. Michael Porter doesn't play well. It's still Jokic and Jamal that they're gonna get at first.
You may not believe me, but it is very true. They're both the same age, him and Jason Tatum, MPJ and Jason Tatum. And MPJ makes $1 million more than this dude.
Then who?
Jason Tatum.
Are you sure?
Michael Porter. I'm
Huge-
looking at it right now.
Tatum's got the biggest
Jason
contract of all time.
He got
Last
the
year.
biggest
No,
contract.
Jaylen Brown did.
Oh, Tatum hasn't got paid yet?
No,
He's about to get paid.
Jason Tatum makes $1 million less than Michael Porter Jr.
He hasn't got
I'm
a
not
big
saying-
contract.
That's gonna change.
I know it's going to change, but I'm just saying when the contract is at that point, you have expectations too. We're paying you. The reason we don't have Brucey B, the reason we don't have KCP no more is because we don't have the money to do it, because it's being allocated to the big three, technically the big four, but our
It's
big three.
four.
And the big three specifically is based on their talent, their aura, and their contracts. And Jamal and Nikola came through when we needed it.
Yeah.
And the third person who we needed in that moment did not come through. So, like I said, I will let that be gone because he knows it more than anyone. I'm not going to beat a dead horse with this one specifically, because I have nothing but love and respect for Michael Porter Jr. He's one of my favorite players, and I know that haunts him. So there's no need to continue to haunt him at it. It's just one of those things that, like, as a Nuggets fan, it just hurts me because as I sit here in Minnesota, in enemy territory, and I know that team is not better than us.
No, they're not.
They were up 20 points at home. And if Michael Porter Jr. had 17 points that game, the Nuggets go to the Western Conference Finals, where they match up against a team in Dallas. And this is a little sneak peek, but there's a show, Starting Five, that's on Netflix right now. Jason Tatum was talking about how he thought that, someone asked him, like, when did he think he's going to win a championship, or when he know he's going to win a championship? He said when Minnesota beat Denver. Because then he said Denver's the only team we were looking at that we were kind of like, damn, they match up better.
Yeah.
They can beat us. And when the
beat
champions are like, dang,
yeah,
they can beat us. That's how you know that this Nuggets team is for real. The team that only lost 3 games all postseason was looking at y'all saying, that's gonna be a challenge for us.
We lost last year's championship when we didn't make a move at free agency and when we didn't pick up nobody off the waiver wire, because we lose that game largely in the third quarter with burnt starters.
Yeah.
You can blame Michael Porter, and I do agree with you. I'm not saying he couldn't have done better. And I also agree with you for, like, when we go into X factors for the season, he's probably is number one X factor. He has been showing up, and he said he's been working out, and you can see he's taking leadership more serious during preseason. We'll see that over time, whether that's true or not. I would say that when we lost that third quarter because of no bench and the fact we didn't play any of our guys, you might have put in Julian Strawther he's hurt during that time. There's people that maybe you throw in for 4 minutes, but the fact that we didn't have a bench is really where we lost that season.
And we fixed that. In my mind, this bench is so
and Jays, I'll throw it to you. I was just gonna say, Jays, I'll throw it to you really quick. But it's to your point, Kyle, and we harped on it all year. All Nuggets fans did. I heard plenty of different podcasts and Denver Sports Talk Radio saying we had the best starting 5 in basketball. But we utilized, even MPJ, played 80 games. You know what I mean? We had the MVP. Obviously, he played more than 65 games. Like we burnt them all the way to the end. They played the most games out of anyone the season before, and they were in game 7 at home. And you just saw that the tread was no longer on the tire because they didn't have the support off the bench like they had the year before. And Jays, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, I'm going to say our bench is totally better already than, I mean, on paper
I agree.
and in person than last year. So let's just say the bench is good now. Okay. So it's up to Coach Malone to maneuver and put the pieces together and do what he has to do to conserve that energy and always look forward to us being in the playoffs. Now, don't run us in a hole. If we're not number 1 out the box, looking at up, we can be 4, the top 4, get in the playoffs. So I'd rather be healthy and strong than, a higher seed and do what we did last year. So
I hope that's what we realize this year, is that we don't have to run Jamal in the Jamal doesn't have to be an all-star for the Nuggets to win a championship. Michael Porter doesn't need to play 30-plus minutes a game. Jokic doesn't need to play 30-plus minutes a game. They're not giving him any more MVPs.
Nope.
So there's no reason for us to burn ourselves out trying to get the 1 seed in the West, because I think we can win from any seed.
Yeah.
Outside of the plan. Outside of the plan, I think we can win.
Anyway.
I know, I'm just saying we can win from any seed, essentially.
Right.
Well, even Miami even showed you can win from the plan, but regardless, I just don't think that's a good model for us.
No.
And another thing to that point, Kyle, like the goal should be winning a championship. And obviously,
it really should be.
I know I hear Jay saying, "Oh, we gotta play well. We gotta get home court advantage." Well, they had Game 7 at home and they lost, so was not put any value on that either.
Well, I said they don't have to have. I mean, they have to have home court. I'd say, but the top 4 spots, they don't have to try to have to be 1 or 2 of it. That's what we were trying to.
Because I'm just saying, what I'm saying is they don't have to. You can go for the top 4, but I think this team is good enough. They just need to be healthy and playing well when the playoffs start. And that I would rather that than having a 1, 2, 3 seed because if we had to exhaust ourselves to get the 1, 2, or 3, you saw we had the 2 versus Minnesota, who was the 3, and Minnesota won 3 of the 4 games in Denver.
Yeah,
so throw that concept right out the door. That's what I'm saying.
Only because they were overloaded.
But that's what I'm saying is don't spin yourself trying to get those seeds if you don't have to. Because I'd rather just be like when they won the championship, they sucked in March. They were miserable, like to the point people were jumping ship. They're like, "Yo, Nuggets, I don't know what's happening." But now we know is they secured the 1 seed basically March 2nd against Memphis, and didn't have to do anything. They had a give me. I think Scott Foster just kind of gave them a game against Toronto that time, and then they just got smoked. I remember Chicago whipped them. The Nets beat them. Like they were getting smoked down the stretch in late March and early April. And people are sounding the buzzer, then all of a sudden they only lose 4 games the rest of the season and win the championship. So I much rather that than
I want to get Jay's
battling our heart out for the 1 seed.
I want to get Jay's in. Who do you think is the X factor for the Nuggets this year?
I always think the same. I think it's AG. And the reason why I say it's AG is because if you don't have a power forward that can go along with Joker, as a starter and get some easy buckets and get Joker in the flow and start playing with it well, it ain't gonna work. It started working when AG came here, and I'm not gonna leave that horse. I think it's him. He's my X factor. If he's good, he's healthy, him and Joker are all like that. There it is. I get it that the 1-2 is all punches is Joker and Murray for many, many reasons. But I think the X factor in that team is AG.
Yeah, I would say Michael Porter, much to Christoph's point.
Yeah.
I think he just has to be, especially the way Jamal Murray is going to play throughout the year. It's going to take, when Jamal gets going, you want him to get going during the playoffs.
Yes.
So in the meantime, they're going to need that third guy to help in those moments. So I really say Michael Porter Jr. is our X factor. Let's get into
wait. What did Kate
he said Porter too.
Oh, you said Porter too?
Yeah.
I Strouthard. I say Strouthard.
Oh, you said Strouthard.
I really say because I'm just thinking about it because I really think Russ, Sarge, and if you have a bona fide up and coming star with Strouthard, the Nuggets are going to make a lot of noise.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's get into Wednesday night's game because that is the opener.
Mm.
And not only is it the opener, but we're playing the team that was the #1 seed in the West last year, who won the division, in the Thunder. So, what
It's
are you
actually
looking forward
Thursday
to?
night's game,
It's
but
Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday.
yeah, Thursday 24th. But
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
good,
just
you're
want
good.
to let you know because we got people in Serbia. I don't want them turning on the channel. It's
True.
Friday
True.
there.
Okay,
I just
Thursday,
want
Thursday.
Good,
to make sure
good,
it's clear.
good catch.
Thursday's
Thursday, we play the Thunder. What are you looking forward to in that game? What do you want to see?
I want to see them come with some energy. I want to see them play like they know what I would have expected, which is and win the game. And I think it's possible because I don't want to talk about the Nuggets right here. I want to talk about OKC. Their star has been playing all year. I mean, he played a hard and fast. Oh yeah, here you go. He played a hard and fast Olympics, for Canada. He was the man. I just think he hasn't gotten any rest. And they're going to
We're the
rely
same
on him.
issue because Jamal ain't got no rest and Nikola ain't got no rest.
Retweet. I was like, Nikola playing the gold medal game. What are you talking about?
No, in the bronze game.
They were the bronze game.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. My fault. Yeah, they played in the bronze game. Like, come on, like he played deeper into this, and then traveled to Abu Dhabi. So
Yeah.
And was partying in Belgrade.
I hear your point. I hear your point, Jays. I just want to add
Keep trying
some
to poke.
true
Keep trying to poke
context.
at SGA. I would say my
Yeah.
thing I'm looking forward to most in this game is bench synergy. I want to see that bench play real solid minutes together, where the starters may be out for minutes in the game, and we actually have a stronger push. We get up more. The plus, I want to see some form of plus minus in the bench that shows that was good minutes played.
Okay, so y'all didn't like my first answer. I'm gonna give you a second answer. I want Jamal to not play as many minutes as he has been playing last year. I want him to come out with the starters, do what he does, let Russ do what so he won't be going transitioning between starters and bench too much. I want them to rest him so that when it really matters, he is available and healthy. So I want to see that start out that way.
And Chris,
No, I think I don't know. I think I'm interested to see how they match up against OKC because to your point, Dot, I think OKC is going to be they're going to be a top 2 seed in the West. I think it's going to be them, Memphis, Minnesota, and us going to be the top 4. Dallas flirting there. Dallas is going to be the next team flirting.
That's what I said, Memphis.
You guys, I'm still big on Memphis. Memphis was the 2 seed back-to-back seasons, and then they didn't have their best player for a year, and they weren't good. But they still have Marcus
Memphis, like
Smart.
Jamal Murray,
Yes, I'm not going to do this with you.
has a
I
2
do.
seed.
No, I said as a top 4. They'll be battling the
Top
top 4.
four?
Luka, yes, they'll be battling the top 4. Just mark my words on this. And if I'm gonna do another hot take, I know this is just Nuggets still, but Houston's gonna be a play-in team this year.
That's not that hot. That's not a hot take. They were basically a 9. They were basically 11 seed last year.
We'll lock it in. They're gonna be an 8.
A better take would be the
seed.
Spurs get into the play-in game. I think that's a better take as a hot take.
I can't do that one yet, but I think you might.
What do you mean? They got what's his name? The rookie Castle from UConn, who's been playing pretty well in the preseason. They got a new point guard in Chris Paul, who you saw what he did with the Thunder when he had no guys on his team. Well, actually he did. You saw clearly he had some dogs with SGA. And then now you have Wemby in year 2. So I think that team would be more of a you're living on the edge with a hot take, I'd say. But anyways, other thing I want to see from the Nuggets Thunder before we go into not Nuggets, I want to see Jokic give Chet 30 and 15. Because every time they play, I feel like he has to put 30 and 15 on that man's head top for the
I don't like Chet.
Hartenstein's with
I was gonna say, but they are building their team to beat the Nuggets because you have Hartenstein and Chet, and if they have some third string hack, they have what they need to take on the Nuggets.
And they got Alex Caruso.
They got Alex. Yeah.
They have a
guards.
solid team. I want to see, to your point, what do we want to see? I want to see competence on our bench. Because last year, a lot of the time our bench was incompetent. Straight up.
Minutes. Yeah.
Just useless. I just want to see. I don't think they're gonna figure it out in October.
No.
But like, I want to see rotations. I want to see that. Okay, Sarge and Westbrook look good. I see that Peyton Watson. Like, we could just start to see how it could come together.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want
Yeah, you said synergy. I was like, I just want to see it competent. Like, it just like this could potentially give our five a break at some
I would
point.
like to never say again non-Joker minutes. I just want to not. Can I not say that again?
That would be great. That is a great. If this episode was during Christmas, New Year's, what would your New Year's resolution be? Definitely no more non-Joker.
Non-Joker. I just
want to remove that from my
remove
vocabulary.
that. That'd be my wish, my Christmas wish. No more saying non-Joker minutes and that it matters or not matters.
I would say this will go into not Nuggets, but what the team I do think is the biggest threat to the Nuggets is the team they're playing on Thursday. The Thunder have
Really?
Yes, not only were they the 1 seed last year, they are able to still have some top picks. They are able to get, I think, to Christoph's point, the only teams that have ever figured out any stopping of Jokic, and it's still not stopping him, it's just figuring out ways to make him work harder, is when you throw a platoon of big guys at him. You have Chet, who's 7+ foot, and now you have Hartenstein, that's 6'11", maybe 7 foot, who has now played real minutes in teams like the Knicks and all that.
Now you're talking about the Joker who took on the whole Olympic team, U.S. Olympic team, almost got
him down. They have bigs. They only had Anthony Davis.
Only.
And Bam.
Okay, you guys both just proved my point. What do you do to Anthony Davis in the Western Conference Finals? What do you do to Bam in the finals?
No,
one guy.
You're proving my point.
Yeah,
they didn't have the third hack.
Yeah,
you have to have a third hack.
That's what I said. If they go get one more big guy during the middle, kind of where we're talking about, where we need a 3-point shooter, if they can add one more big guy to their depth, then they can do what Minnesota did last year, where now you have Cat, you have Naz Reid, and you have Rudy Gobert just throwing matchups at Jokic, making him figure out different things he has to do in a game.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not saying they still didn't stop Jokic. He still did whatever he wanted on the court. But it does add a layer of we can throw 4 fouls on you now.
And you're sneaking.
I'm looking
not Nuggets, right? Because we got to
talk
talk
about
about
Nuggets.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's what I said.
We got to talk about Minnesota.
I said my team is the biggest threat to Nuggets in the West is the Thunder. That's what I said.
I'm looking at their roster right now. They don't have a fourth big. They have Jalen Williams, who's 6'9", who you could probably throw at him, and he just becomes the hack. But he's not going to do anything offensively, and that might screw up their rotations, having him on the court. And so now you're really just focusing on stopping the Nuggets, or stopping Nikola, which isn't the best way to do it. Because at least the other ones that come to mind, Minnesota, as well as the Lakers, when they did it, when they won the championship in the bubble, they literally they had it, but they weren't really focused on stop. Their whole mission wasn't to stop Nikola. Their mission was to win the game, and they could just neutralize Nikola. Same with Minnesota. Minnesota just wanted to beat the Nuggets. They didn't want to win a championship. They wanted to beat the Nuggets. So with that caveat said, I think the Minnesota, I don't know if they won a championship yet. I still don't know that. But they do want to beat the Nuggets, and since that's the case, I still think they're our biggest adversary in the West.
I think the only thing I'll say, I'll push back on my Thunder. They don't have a ton of scoring, I think, outside of SGA. SGA is a certified hooper.
And Caruso.
And Jalen Williams.
Are the only two bona fide scorers. Chet might Chet might have some days, but they don't. Their scoring is limited. They're high defense though. They have a lot of defensive guys.
Yeah. Well, we saw that.
So you said Minnesota is still your team to beat in the West. You like Julius Randle?
No, the biggest threat to the Nuggets in the West.
I said, what do you think about that Julius Randle for Cat? Because I think that's what killed them as my biggest threat.
Are we gonna move into not Nuggets?
Yeah, we've been in not Nuggets.
Okay. I thought that was a stupid move, but Tim Conley. So that didn't surprise me that the dumb move would be made, but it happened. it just puzzled me because I don't think that was the move that didn't get you into the NBA Finals last year. But the Cat contract was just going to continue to be a
Yeah.
bugaboo
It's
down the
him on
line.
Yeah.
So they got out of it before it became a hassle.
Mhm.
And, you know, and much like Bill Belichick in switching sports, you always want to get rid of them. I guess this goes back to Bill Walsh too, Kyle. You always want to get rid of them 1 year too early than 1 year too late.
Correct.
So I guess if you want to look at it that way, and you're able still to get Julius Randle back and Dante DiVincenzo, who's going to be an excellent person off the bench, sharpshooter for them, that could work. But I do think what you lost was significant when it comes to playing the Nuggets.
Yeah.
And if you have circled the Nuggets as the cream of the crop and the team that's to beat and coming out the West are going to be your biggest adversary, that is a step back.
Maybe Tim Connelly said Denver's not the team to beat in the West no more. It's Dallas, so we don't need to have a big.
I was getting ready to say y'all just disrespecting Dallas.
And to be honest with you, Anthony Edwards said it. He said that they overlooked Dallas, and I honestly agree with him on that. I think they didn't need to get swept by. I don't know if Dallas was significantly better than them, but I do think that they overlooked them a little bit.
They were tired. They had to deal with Joker and AG and MPJ and Jamal and and KCP for 7 games.
Yeah,
you want to know why I'm overlooking Dallas, Mom?
Why?
It's Clay.
Jace, is because I saw what they did when they got to the finals. It was like they didn't get to the finals. They made it there and then they got shoot off.
Yeah.
Boston was like, please get away from here. Just get away from here.
Said it.
And they were like, okay, my bad. I'm sorry. So the way they I think what people don't want to hear it because it's not really a great basketball take. Minnesota built their team and set their sights on beating the Nuggets.
Right. That's
what happened. As soon as they beat the Nuggets, they were accomplished with their season. Yep. They were accomplished. Dallas, because they've been sitting there, they've been coming. They got Kyrie, they got Luka, they have absolute dogs. They added Klay Thompson, but last season they had an excellent bench. They made some great middle of the season moves. They're well coached. They knew what it took. They take a lot of threes. They were built if you were not ready for them, they could get you. Luka had an excellent Western Conference Finals, and they beat Minnesota. They smashed Minnesota. If you really want to get down to it, they had the opportunity, and then they were done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like I said,
so it was like one of those things. Like it's a toss up to me. Like I'm not saying I'm not throwing it away or trying to poo-poo it. I'm just saying that I think Minnesota was the best team in the West last year, but they had their sights set on the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I can see that.
Who's your biggest threat?
The biggest threat is ourselves. I think if we can get it together, I'm kidding you not. If we can get it together, we're going to win it. I don't think we're just going to win the Western Conference. We could win it all. If we could get our bench together. I already said it. I can't say it enough. I don't want to hear any more about when Joker's not on the court. We can't, I don't want to hear that. We can't score. We need to, like you said, we need to have someone who is a dog on defense. When they hit the floor,
Russ can do it.
They can take on the best person you have. They could take on a Kyrie or Luka or SGA or somebody. We need somebody to build to that level or do it by committee.
So stay healthy and don't beat yourself.
Stay healthy and don't beat yourself.
And they said, I will say, Michael Malone said that Julius Strawthird has become a great team defensive guy. He said he can improve a lot on his one-on-ones, but he said as a team defense, he's playing pretty well. So you add Russ, Julian Strawthird, Peyton Watson on that bench. That is a strong defensive team if they can put the offense together.
And then CB and the starting gotta,
Well, he's been the dog.
He's a dog.
He'll take their best. Yes. He'll take their best guard.
The best guard in the playoffs. Yes, Kristoff.
I guess there's one thing that we didn't say that you've heard on a bunch of different pods / on national media / Denver Sports Talk, and I'll say it. Russ's shooting percentage has to. If we get a season of Russ shooting at a higher clip than normal, he's not chucking and ducking Russ or Westbrook. If he's not that, the Nuggets will be in an excellent spot. If he's Mr. Efficient and turns back the clock to 2017, 2016, 2018, we'll be in a very, very good spot. But if he's chucking and ducking, that also is going to hurt that bench.
Playoffs game number one. Playoff game number one is when we played. Jokers threw him some passes. He was open.
Preseason game.
Preseason. He was open and hit the shots. Threes, back to back, threes, smiling, confidence. He hasn't played with anybody like Joker before that could get you a pass when nobody is around you, or you know how to break and get it on your own. That will improve his three-point shooting. I think people was always in his face. He was always tired when he got down to the line and had to chuck up something. I think he's a better three-point shooter than his.
Can I push back on that, Christoph? I really don't. He can't be terrible. That doesn't work. But if he's solid, that bench is made for him to do what he wants to do. He's in the Bruce Brown position where if you play good, we're happy. If you don't play well, the bench has always been a struggle anyways. So he has opportunity to play that bench correctly. And if he's not shooting well, just get other guys involved.
Right.
So to me, I don't care if he shoots 5 to 10. I don't care if he shoots 10 or 12 shots a game on that bench any day of the week. We need somebody to actually put shots up from the bench, because that was the other problem last year. That bench just didn't do anything. They didn't shoot no shots. They didn't pass the ball. It wasn't a functional bench.
And
so if Russ wants to be Bruce Brown and take 15 shots on that bench, I really don't care. As long as we're able to facilitate some type of offense.
He has a mid-range game, and he could drive the basket. So he's going to see that, and then he's going to get him in the right position. I already saw that in those preseason games when trying to get people in the right position and then getting the ball to them. Him and he had some chemistry with a lot of them. So
yeah, let's move over to the East Coast. What team is the biggest threat to Boston in the Eastern Conference?
Biggest threat? I gotta say it.
Is Jimmy Butler still gonna be on Miami?
Yeah, for real. The quasi Nova Knicks. The quasi Nova Knicks. The quasi Nova Knicks.
I gotta see Villanova Knicks play together first.
They're not. They're not. They took off. They'll never be the Nova Knicks. They'll be the quasi. They'll be the quasi.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, when Steve DiVincenzo got traded, the Nova Knicks, full at its max strength, also got traded.
You can hear the air go out that balloon cross country.
However, they did add Karl Anthony Towns, who's one of the best shooting big men of all time. I thought they have Mikal Bridges. They have made themselves quite formidable. I want to see how they match up well. And obviously, it's the Mecca, and Knicks fans are absurd, and they're going to have high expectations. And they're going to expect the most over each game. So once they get beat into shape over 82 games, like Tibbs is going to run them into the ground anyway. And with the New York media and the pressure, by the time they get to the playoffs, can they handle that? Can they go into to the Boston Garden and win 3 of the 4 games like Minnesota did at Ball Arena to get them out of the playoffs? That's to be seen. But I like what they did. And I think they kind of have a similar issue that's not kind of coming to the surfacing because we don't have the depth. It's not a Knicks conversation. They kind of have an issue like the Nuggets do with their bench. Probably not to the same extent, but they still, if you look at their bench, that's going to be a minor issue throughout the season.
It's not. We know who it's not. It's not Philadelphia.
Well, I was going to get into that because I know
we know that.
And if you have a Nuggets podcast, you are the antithesis of a 76ers podcast.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But anyways, I was going to say, of course, the New York Knicks are the biggest threat. I don't even know if the East is crazy good this year. I think people are giving the East a lot of credit, but over 1 week, the 76ers kind of just showed that they are going to do the same thing they always do. Joel Embiid said he's not playing back-to-backs. And Paul George gets hurt.
Yeah.
So now it's back to Maxey. That team is not going to be scary. They're going to kind of beat themselves. I think a team that no one says, and probably no one in the media will say, but they have a very solid defensive team, and it's the Orlando Magic. Especially when you add KCP. I think that team is one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They were even last year. They didn't have enough scoring. If Paulo can make a bigger jump as a superstar scorer,
that'd be great.
I think they could give specifically even Boston a lot of run because how well they can match up defensively. I don't think Boston walks across the stage against them because of all the players they can throw at you. They can throw Suggs at you. They can throw KCP. what's his name plays really good defense. I'm spacing his name, but they have some really good players on that team that can really play. Then you all add in Wagner. He was really good last year. That team can do something. There's something there in Orlando that I'm not counting them out. I honestly think they're the third or fourth best team in the East. Milwaukee.
That's what I wanted to see what Jay said before you threw that name out
I
there.
was gonna say Milwaukee or in Indiana.
Not
I mean,
Miami.
Can you tell me if Jimmy Butler's on the team? If Jimmy Butler's on a team, yeah.
Jimmy Butler's always scary to Boston specifically.
Yes.
That's facts.
There's no reason why Boston loses to them, but every time Jimmy Butler on that is on.
If you want to, that's funny you said that. You said I like that. Boston to Boston specifically, Miami scary.
Yes.
And if you want to go down that road to Boston specifically, Philadelphia definitely ain't scary.
Nope.
So we want to do that. I think we'll touch on Indiana real fast, but I wanted to see if you're gonna say Milwaukee because this is year 2 of Dame and Giannis. And
I heard it was snowing in Indiana.
Yeah, for real. What up, Fifth? So like Giannis and Dame are going into their second year together. And if you told me, 4 years ago that Giannis and Dame are going to team up, I'm like, oh, dang, that's finals. But Jason Tatum got got KP. I've been like, that's formidable. But Dame and Giannis? So we all saw that they broke down last year. They're obviously another year older, but the hunger in Dame to get a championship, I have to put them, and they did a great job. They got Taurean Prince, who was at the Lakers last year. They signed Gary Trent Jr. and they got DeLon Wright.
Who's their coach?
Funny enough, is it Doc?
No point. That's half the reason why. That's half the reason why they're going to be where they're at last year.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, sidebar. It's a knock on our GM real fast. They're able to get Taurean Prince for $2 million, Gary Trent Jr. for $2 million. Yet I've been looking at it. They're paying Giannis $48 million, Dame $48 million, Chris Middleton $31 million, Brooks Lopez $23 million, Bobby Portis $12 million, Pat Connaughton $9 million. So it sounds like whoever's doing their budget does a pretty decent job, and whoever's doing the Nuggets one is doing a very poor job because
we have 4 though to pay like that. We got 4 people to pay like that.
Did you not hear what I just said?
I did, but you only have 2.
They have 4.
But they had 2 with $48 million. That's $100 million right there. And then anybody else?
The Nuggets have
330 something.
Nuggets have MPJ and Jamal both making $35 million a year, 36 and 35 million a year. You have AG making 22 million, and you have Nikola making 51, right? And then it's a large scale drop down until like Najee, who's making 8. I just said 48, 23, 31, 12,
It's not the
9.
same. Not the same. Honest to goodness.
But Mom, but Jays, then you're able to go out and get Taurean Prince for $2 million, and Gary Trent Jr. for $2 million, and DeLon Wright. After last year when they went out and got for what was it, $500,000 less, the Nuggets signed Justin Holiday, and they signed what's former Nugget? I'm blanking on his name right now. Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out like the GM ain't GMing. That's all I can say.
Well, we know this. And quite frankly, I did want Gary Trent this summer, but that's another conversation for another day. Let's get into something unique because it's the beginning of the year. We can always come back to this at the end of the year and see how well we did. But let's get into some superlatives, or not superlatives, but who's going to win these positions. So let's start at the biggest one. We can go around the horn. Who is your MVP of the NBA this year?
Wow.
Christoph, you can get first one.
Who do we hope?
SGA.
Who we hope, or who do we think will be?
I think it's SGA because I think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the West.
Yeah.
It's gonna be SGA.
And I'll go at Luka.
Yeah. I feel like Luka is always the guy they want to hand it to him. I don't get why he doesn't just want to go accept it. I don't know what he needs to go do to accept it, but they've been wanting to give this man the MVP
Yeah.
for the last 3 years. I would say a wild card, Jason Tatum.
Yeah, that was the other one. I would say those are the three. I mean,
No,
those three
you're
of us-
missing a big one. Ant. Now that Ant now it's
Ant-
Ant's team.
Not yet.
Ant's now starting to move into
It's,
that.
what are you
Not
talking
yet.
about? Not
Luka.
yet.
It's those four:
Not
SGA,
yet.
Luka,
And Ant.
and Ant and Tatum are kind of the ones they want to get to that aren't the
Can Ant
bigs.
get to the Western Conference Finals and out?
He just did.
Out to the finals is what I'm
Let's not
talking.
do that. Let's not do that.
That's
Yeah.
not what gives you the
Because
MVP.
I understand it, but that
Nikola
would
had
help.
two
That
before
would
he
help
did that.
me.
Yeah.
That would help me.
But
Nikola had two before he did that. So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna do
compar-
that with you.
And you're not comparing Joker.
Well, it's
to
just that
Ant.
Jokic. It's
But
just
no, you just we're talking MVP. We're talking MVP, and I'm just saying that you had to throw Ant in the conversation. I'm saying I think SGA is going to get it because I think they're going to be the 1 seed again in the West, and there's a healthy camp of people that wanted to give it to him last year. I think he's going to get it. But my number 2, not far behind SGA, would be Ant, and neither two of you said it, so I just figured I would throw his name.
What
in because
about
he's in
a
there.
weird one like Wemby? And the reason why I say Wemby,
No.
the only reason I say this, I know it's not. He's probably 2 years from now.
At least.
But why I say Wemby is because he's the next breed of people that can put up those crazy stats. Like Jokic and Embiid and Giannis, they won so many because of the stats they can
Yeah.
put up.
Well,
So if
get your team
Chris
in
Paul
a
can do it, if Chris Paul can-
There's a few people I'd put over him. I'd put Jalen Brunson's name over him.
yes.
I put
what if Chris Paul does-
according to what you just said, if Paulo Banchero gets his team the
Yes.
top 3 seed, you have to throw Paulo in there. You
Yeah.
got to throw Mr.
I'm just
Mr.
saying-
Jack Frost in there.
You know who we haven't put in there?
Halliburton.
Can I tell you somebody who we just missed and that's terrible? Jalen Brown.
yeah, Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
But
And I'll
Kristoff,
throw another one. You don't want to hear this one, but it is God's honest truth. John Morant. If they have a
True.
great
But I'm
season,
just saying,
you got to throw Jamal in there.
Jokic won an NBA
MVP.
MVP from the 6th seed. If Wemby can get to the 6th seed and he's averaging, say, 20 to 30 points, like when I say 20, I mean high 20s to 30 points, 5 blocks, 15 rebounds. There's a world where they're saying he's
But
put
they're
up
the
stats that's never been
7th
done.
seed. But they're the 7th seed.
6th seed. If they make the playoffs.
If they're the 6th seed, maybe, because if SGA is the 1, I'm still giving it to SGA.
I'm just saying out
I
there.
think
was
I think
asking,
what you
this is
said.
a
I think what
question.
you said is true. Is that everybody knows that Wemby's coming. Wemby's
Yeah.
gonna
And he
have
can put up the
multiple of
stat
them,
line.
so we don't have to. He doesn't
line.
have to skip the line at this moment
That's
because you get SGA, you get Luka, you get Ant. These are the dudes that are here. Giannis, Embiid, kinda, and Yoke. They're now done.
Yeah.
Bron been off the stage.
But Julian,
You know what I mean?
Joel Embiid
KD
put
off the
himself out by
stage.
saying he's not going to do back-to-backs.
Steph off the stage. Like, these dudes they're far past their prime. They're very much so still in their prime, a lot of those guys, but they're just not in their MVP winning anymore.
Not good.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
this is the crop that's up. We all know that Wemby's on his way, so why?
All right, well,
would
speaking of Wemby, who do you think is going to be the defensive player of the year?
Wemby?
You think it's Wemby?
He should have won it last year.
Yeah, he should have
Should have won it last year. It was
He
stupid.
definitely
That was
should've
so
won it.
dumb. They gave it to Gobert. They didn't give it to him because he's a rookie, which was silly. He should have won it last year.
Yeah, he should have won it last year. I think Wemby's
So
probably.
Wemby.
You think who you got Wemby too?
That's fine. Yeah. I mean,
All right.
I'd be okay with
Here's
it.
another one.
Or a dark horse would be Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, they don't give it to guards no more. It's so annoying. Like guards don't play defense. It's weird.
Yeah.
How about this? 6th man of the year.
Ooh. Russell Westbrook.
Who won 6th man last year?
I would love that. I would love
I
that.
think Nas Reed.
Nas Reed. Did he win last year?
Yeah.
I think it was Nas Reed.
It was a Minnesota guy.
Who do you think's gonna win this year?
Russell Westbrook.
There's a piece of me that thinks your boy from a Thunder player. Like, who could DiVincenzo.
Chinzo could win it. Is Reed Shepherd? I know he's gonna be rookie of the year, but is he a starter too from Houston?
We have to see.
But if he's coming
with a
out-
deep cut. Yeah.
I say if
maybe.
he's coming off the bench, then I think he's gonna tear up the league.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think I like Dante DiVincenzo. Russ could do it. He's
Yeah.
kind of in that Bruce Brown area.
Mm-hmm.
Six man's kind of hard to predict at the beginning of the year.
I was gonna say another one could be like you guys are gonna laugh me off the stage. Someone from OKC. I don't necessarily
Caruso,
know.
or no, Caruso's a starter.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dort, and I was like, probably not
Uh,
Dort, but like someone from there, or yeah. So it's
Mm.
gonna be a team. It's gonna be someone from a team that types. I know this is an awful hot take prediction. Like a hype team, like the Knicks.
Some team that gets
OKC.
good quick early. Yeah, like Bobby Portis could be a good one. He was up last year. He could do it again.
Yeah, Bobby Porter's. If they're in the contention top 4 seed in the East, you gotta. Peyton Pritchard could make a run for it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Russ one too. How about Coach of the Year, Mike Malone? Finally,
Michael Malone, finally.
Well, I don't know. The Nuggets might be chilling. this year,
No,
so he might not be in that.
come on.
I think he deserved one that one year.
Yeah.
One seed in the West. When he didn't get it there, he might not get one for a while, bro. But I think Mike Malone would be a good Coach of the Year finally.
Jason Kidd,
Where's Kid at right now? Oh, Dallas still.
Yeah.
Dallas.
He's in Dallas.
Okay, Jason, we'll put him on the list.
Maybe Tom Thibodeau.
You kind of there's only two ways you win college Coach of the Year. Either you gotta be dominant the whole year, or you gotta be surprisingly good.
Or you take a team that wasn't supposed to be.
That's what I said. Surprisingly good. Mike Brown or the guy
The
last year
Orlando,
from
Orlando's coach, remember? Was,
yeah. That's how you kind of win. So if Orlando does it, I think what's the name could who's it? Is it Mosby?
Yeah.
He could be a good. He could be a good chance for
something
next
like
year.
Mhm.
All right, Rookie of the Year. Do you even know any rookies, JJ?
Y'all
I think this rookie class is kind of not great.
I got Reed. Like I said, I got Reed Shepherd from Houston.
Yeah, for Shep. What's homies from Minnesota?
Dillingham.
Dillingham. Yeah,
But yes,
that's
I don't
right.
think he's gonna play enough. That's why I wouldn't pick him. But
It would have been our guy, but he got hurt.
What about the dude from
in the summer league?
yeah, what's his name? Holmes.
Yeah.
Chris, what about the first overall pick from Atlanta? I don't know his name. It's the French guy?
French dude?
Rashad,
Yeah, French dude?
Rashad?
Nah.
Rashad? I mean, he's gonna play a lot, so
Mm.
Nah.
He got game.
Atlanta's gonna be in contention for flag.
he's got some game though. He plays pretty well, bro.
That's a better one. Who do you think is gonna get Cooper flag?
Ooh,
Mm.
bad team. Who's just gonna be the worst team in the NBA this year? Like, what team you just?
I have a few. I think who are gonna be pretty
Detroit's still gonna
ASS.
find their way down there.
Portland.
Portland
Portland.
could be, yeah.
Goodness, I hope-
Portland's gonna be
got
down there.
Cooper Flag for 15 years.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's some.
Toronto always find a way to play well.
So
They got Nurse. They don't have Nurse no more.
mm-mm.
hmm
When we go
I
from
feel bad to my homies. I have to say this one, but Chicago
Oh, Chicago could be Cooper Flag town, bro.
That would be a good place.
and the last one, he would be going to the Big Apple, but he'd be going to Brooklyn. The Nets.
The Brooklyn.
Those teams.
Who does
Those
Brooklyn
teams are going to
have?
be pretty bad this year.
Brooklyn's gonna be
They're
real
gonna
bad.
They're going to be pretty bad.
Who's
You know who I
Brooklyn
think
gonna
their
have?
best player is? Ben Simmons, bro.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Moving on. What about the NBA Finals prediction? Can I go first?
Yeah.
Denver Nuggets playing the Boston Celtics and beating them.
Christoph, who you got?
Can you go?
I know you're not about to pick the Nuggets. He's about to say someone else. Go ahead. Be the first one out to say it. We expect nothing less from you on
Yeah,
this
come
podcast.
on. We know that.
I would love to say the Nuggets.
But
And I think there's a world in which they very well could do it.
yes.
But I think that's going to take a few mid-season moves. And I just don't think we have a competent front office enough to do that. So I trust the players. I trust the organization from a coaching perspective and a training staff and, a ball boy. Rocky's is the best mascot. We have celebrated 25 years at Ball Arena this season. We got the deal done. So now fans in Denver can watch the team. at least a couple games. I just think we have the worst GM in basketball, so I can't fully
Who do
commit.
you got, man?
Just say it. This must not be too good.
We
on
don't need
you.
the soliloquy. Who do you
Yeah.
got?
We'll
I
say.
don't know. I feel like I can honestly see there's 3 teams I think there's 2 teams in the East. I would love to see duke it out. I think it's gonna come down to either the Knicks or the Celtics.
Okay.
And then there's 3 teams in the West. I could see Minnesota, OKC, or Denver. And we'll see how that shakes out because once more it's rock, paper, scissors with me.
So, no prediction. No
Sounds
prediction
good.
is what you
Yeah.
said. Okay, we're moving on. No
very,
prediction.
very, very lame.
Yeah.
All right.
Nuggets versus Celtics.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It's not that hard to predict. And that's
Thank you.
It's
that's
very
what
hard to predict. What are you talking about?
That's what I predicted last year. Nuggets versus Celtics.
Yeah.
We're
And it
game
should've
7
been.
away from get to the Western Conference Finals to make it happen.
Everybody wants to see
It's
it.
the same way with what's it called? Dodgers versus Yankees.
Yeah, come on.
The world wants to see this championship. I just think those are the teams that are the best teams in the NBA. It'd be the rematch of the last 2 champions. I think that would be the most fun finals for the NBA. So I will pick Nuggets versus Boston.
There you go.
And we don't know what's going to happen. But at that point, I think the Nuggets should win.
Yep, United Front. And we have a parade in downtown Denver.
Let's go to the 2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes remaining.
So, a really good show came on, courtesy of Denver Broncos legend Peyton Manning. He put a show on Netflix called Start at 5. It's an all-access show, similar to quarterback, similar to receiver that he's done in the NFL. But it's kind of cool. He basically took – I'm mansplaining this for anybody that hasn't seen it. But Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, he took
Jason
Tatum,
Jimmy Butler,
and Sabonis as the 5 people, and he just did an all-access kind of seeing their whole lives throughout the NBA season. It was really dope. It was really cool to see this from an NBA perspective. So my question is a little different, but if you could watch an all-access of 5 players throughout NBA history, doesn't even have to be current players, who would you want to see?
I want to see.
And and then I might even add this: what year would you want to see if it's going to be someone like specific out of time?
I'm only going to have a couple, so y'all can, talk about it or not. I think I'd love to see Michael Jordan. I like to see Magic Johnson. I like to see Larry Bird. I like to see Kareem and Olajuwon, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I like that Olajuwon put in there, like Olajuwon, like 92, where you see him praying and adding the H to his name. I'm gonna go the complete opposite because I want to see the absolute debauchery. Give me like Rodman in like 96, 97.
That'd be good.
I would love to see that. Give me Wilt Chamberlain in like 1967, and then I'll juxtapose that with like Bill Russell in 1967. Give me Magic Johnson in like 1986, 87. Give me that. That'd be fun to watch. And then I should probably go with the serious one, but because those would be fun. Those ones would be absolutely super fun. I don't know. Maybe Nikola. Nikola would be fun to just like watch him, see his life at some point.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, what makes that show good is the blend of personalities. So I don't know if I want all debauchery, even though yours would be fun to watch from like a Jersey Shore standpoint. You just get the craziness of everybody's life at their pinnacle. I would get a nice blend, right? So I would take Allen Iverson in one of those years. Okay. Maybe even when he first came to Denver that year when him and Carmelo first got together.
No, you gotta do the MVP year, bro.
I know the MVP year would be the coolest for Allen Iverson, but I think a weird year where he's in transition coming into Denver, he's meeting with Carmelo. That was the same year Carmelo got suspended. Like I think that could just be a cool year to come drop in on Allen Iverson. Just that's maybe the Nuggets fandom in me. I would say Allen Iverson. That's kind of one of the headlines of the show. Honestly, as you said, I think Nikola, even though he would never really kind of do a show like that, I think Nikola would just be, that would make it, that's why it'd be so cool to get Nikola. Then obviously, I would agree with you. I'd still see Wilt because I watched the documentary and Wilt's life is just insane. So I think Wilt would be there. Give me Kobe because I don't think anybody kind of works is in the trenches when it comes to. I think his show would be dope because you just get like 3 a.m. moments with Kobe. I think that's
watch Kobe doing work.
I know, but I just think
that was a day in the life.
Okay, then go watch. To your point, go watch Michael Jordan's Last Dance.
Yeah, Last Dance.
I didn't add Michael Jordan to my list.
Oh, okay, my bad. But anyway, so that'd be the one, and then shoot, my fifth. I got a center, a point guard. Dang, I don't know. Last one,
Timmy Duncan.
Timmy Duncan kind of LeBron, Kobe and Tim kind of take up that same, or Jokic and Tim kind of take up that same area.
Okay.
But I would take someone like that. You know what I'd take? I know none of y'all said, and he's important to the game. I'd bring Dr. J in the era. I think Dr. J would be.
I like that.
That's funny. And if you're going to do Nikola, since we both did it, I'll retract it and keep mine kind of the debauchery one. I would exchange my Nikola for Bill Walton, like 1977. That would be a lot of fun.
So you have
know what I mean? God rest his soul.
But you know what? I had Magic and somebody else. You took Magic as well, Christoph.
Yeah, because you said it from a Magic and Bird standpoint. I said it from like a Magic and Jerry Buss standpoint.
Okay. All right. Okay. You want later years then.
And then if you then you take coaches too.
Right. Oh my God.
Red Auerbach. We gotta see a show one year. Well, from the Just Nuggets podcast, my name is K.Collie. You can find us all year tweeting, talking about the Nuggets. This is just episode 1. Nuggets play this week. Finally started the season.
Thursday night.
JJ's.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a very successful season. If I say they're going to the championship and winning, we have to have one. So I'm looking forward to it and glad we're back.
Well, we're still there, and that's all that matters. The Nuggets are very close. Who, if not us, who? Like, you know what I mean? They're right there.
If not, then win.
Yeah, exactly. Christoph, thank you again for another episode. Let's have a great year.
Go Nuggets.
Yeah,
Go Nuggets.